Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Numerics with Nadia. In today's lesson, we're going to go over metric units and conversions. So going over our lesson plan, we're first going to learn what metric conversions are, where they're used, what they're used for, and then we will go through a method to kind of remember everything a little bit easier. And then, of course, we'll get through and do some practice problems. So to start off, let's start with how would we even begin to do a metric conversion? Well, it's simple. All we need to learn is King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. And you might be thinking, okay, Miss Nadia has lost her mind. What is she talking about? We are so confused. And don't worry, I know it sounds crazy, but it will make a lot more sense once we get into everything. Before we get into it though, let's take a second and kind of just learn some background on what the metric system is, just so we understand what we're doing and how we're going to use this and how we're going to apply it. So to start off, what is the metric system? The metric system is a decimal-based system of measurement, and it is used internationally. So we'll go over the US specific conversion system as well in a later video, but for now, we're going to focus on the metric system, and that one is used internationally. And these units can measure things like length, distance, weight, volume, and temperature. And again, temperature, there's a US-based one as well. We will do temperature and all temperature conversions in a later video. But for now, let's get back to that little trick I was telling you guys about our metric conversion. So again, King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. So I've underlined the beginning letter of each of these because that's what's really going to help us here. And we're going to start in the middle. We'll start with that unusually, which is just our unit rate. And a unit rate is usually equal to 1. And the examples in the metric system for our unit rate are meters, liters, and gram. So notice how there's nothing before any of these. There's no prefix. Every other one we go through is going to have one because it's not our unit rate. So now we're going to move to the right, and the D stands for deci. And the conversion here is that 10 decis equal 1 unit. And again, some examples for deci would be a decimeter, a deciliter, and a decigram. So notice how all of these have that same exact deci prefix. Now we'll continue moving to the right. Now we have our C, and C is going to stand for the centi prefix. So for centi, our conversion is 100 centi in 1 unit. And our examples are centimeter, centiliter, and centigram. And we'll make one more move to the right. The M stands for milli. So 1,000 milli are equivalent to 1 unit. And then the examples we have for milli are millimeter, milliliter, and milligram. So some of these are going to sound more familiar than others. Definitely the whole milli metric conversion will be more familiar to you guys, as well as centimeter and some other ones that we'll get to on the other side. So now that we've finished the right-hand side, we're going to start and we're going to move left from the center, and we're going to go to D. So the D on the left of the U stands for deca, and 1 deca equals 10 units. And examples for the deca would be a decameter, a decaliter, and a decagram. So notice the difference. We do have 2 D's here, but one is deci and one is deca, because you have to know if you're working to the right or to the left. Now we'll deal with our H. The H stands for hecto, and 1 hecto is equivalent to 100 units. And examples with the hecto prefix would be a hectometer, a hectoliter, and a hectogram. And now we'll move on to our last one, last but not least, K for king. The K stands for kilo, and our conversion here is that 1 kilo is equivalent to 1,000 units. And the examples here would be a kilometer, a kiloliter, and a kilogram. So now that we've gone through and defined and really gotten in depth with everything, I just want to go back through here and highlight that K stands for kilo, H for hecto, D for deca, U for unit, D for deci, C for centi, and M for milli. And now that we've gone through and shown this, let's see what pattern we notice. So I notice here that when we move left, we divide the number by 10. And remember, when we divide by 10, it's the same as moving the decimal to the left 1 unit. And if you guys forgot that, you can watch the decimals playlist. I have videos on rules of 10 and powers of 10. Now, moving on, what happens when we move to the right? When we move to the right, the opposite process happens, and we will be multiplying the numbers by 10. And when we multiply by 10, that means that we move the decimal place 1 place to the right. So now that we've gone through this table, which we'll use as a key to apply to our practice problems, let's move into those. So for today, we're going to convert, and we're going to convert using all of the ones that we've learned so far. So meters, milliliters, kilometers, all of these will be involved. We are not going to be able to do questions with each and every single one of them, but I will do a good little overview for you guys. So for number 1, it says 9 km equals how many m? So km stands for kilometers and m stands for meters. So we're converting from kilometers to meters now. So go back up to that table, and I would recommend copying that down in your notebook or taking a screenshot of it if you're on your phone, but that's really going to be the key for us here. We know that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So since we're given kilometers, well, we need to multiply by 1,000, right? So we will multiply by 1,000 here. And when we do 9 times 1,000, well, we get 9,000. So our answer for number 1 will just be 9,000 meters. Now we'll move on to our second practice problem for today. Number 2 says 2,000 meters is blank kilometers. So here, kind of the opposite of what we just did. Instead of going from kilometers to meters, we'll be going from meters to kilometers. And that same unit conversion applies here. So we know that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters, but here, since we're given meters, we have to divide by 1,000. And when we do 2,000 divided by 1,000, we end up getting 2 as our answer. So number 2 would be 2 kilometers. Now we'll move on to our third practice problem for today. Number 3 says 4L equals blank ml. So let's review. The capital L stands for liters, and then the ml stands for milliliters. So we're converting from liters to milliliters. We know that 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So what we have to do here, since we're given liters, is we're going to multiply by 1,000. And when we do 4 times 1,000, we get 4,000 as our answer for number 3. Now we'll move on to number 4. For number 4, we have 6 cm equals blank mm. So cm stands for centimeter and mm stands for millimeter. So we're converting from centimeters to milliliters, and we know that 1 centimeter is going to be 10 millimeters. So that's our conversion here. What we'll do is we'll multiply that 6 by 10. And when we do that, we know 6 times 10 is just 60. So our answer for number 4 would just be 60 millimeters. Now we'll move on to our last 2 questions for today's video. For number 5, we have 2,000 G equals blank kg. So the G stands for grams and the kg stands for kilograms. So we're converting from grams to kilograms here. And in order to do that, we have to find our conversion rate. Well, we know that 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. So knowing that information, what we have to do here, since we're given grams, is we have to divide by 1,000 in order to get kilograms. So we know that 2,000 divided by 1,000, well, that just gives us 2. So 2 would be our answer for number 5, 2 kilograms. Now we're moving on to our last question of today's lesson, number 6. For number 6, we have 400 centimeters equals how many meters? So here we're going from centimeters to meters, and our conversion rate for that would be that we know 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Since we're starting with centimeters, in order to get meters, well, we have to divide, right? So we're going to divide by 100 here. 400 divided by 100, that just gives us 4. So 4 meters is our answer for number 6. And that is it, you guys. Great job today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like it if you did, comment any questions you might have, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who might enjoy it. And I will see you guys next time.